All right, what is up, fellow bench warmers? Welcome to week one live Q and A. Well, it's the start of week. What week is this? Week two, and my name is JJT with Komish. Big news today. If as we wait for a few guys to join in the stream, the biggest news today: James Harden finally gets traded to the Clippers, uh, the team that he wanted to be in, and the only team that wanted him as well. Well, not really wanted him, but they were the only one who was pursuing him. What's the trade details? Covington, who else? Batum,
Morris,
Marcus Morris, pretty
KJ
much
Morris.
all the forwards
All their
of
power forwards, small forwards, basically the four of them, and then two first round picks, one pick swap, and two second round picks for Harden and PJ Tucker. At
yeah.
first, I think Petrusev was part of the deal, but according to the last report, like I think they removed him because they too much salary going to the Clippers, so they removed Petrusev in the equation.
All right. So, how big is the impact? Is the impact of this trade to
Uh,
anyone, any party here? So, as
fan-
you're talking about the trade, just throw in your comments, your questions on the comment section if you're in Facebook or in YouTube, and then we'll try to answer them later. Yeah.
in
But
terms of
first of all,
fantasy,
let's talk about this.
in in terms of fantasy, I really don't see it's a big you know effect because it's like a
On
move that
Harden,
on
no
everybody
impact on Harden.
because I felt like
Really?
every I felt like everybody already expected that Harden would go to the Clippers. It's a matter of I mean maybe I'll just put it this way: you're not surprised because we knew that Harden wanted to go to the Clippers. The Clippers wanted Harden. We just didn't know when. And during the draft, people actually a lot of people thought that the deal would happen before the season started. No,
Mm-hmm.
that it after Lillard it would happen. So I'm sure a lot of managers already put that into the equation when they did not pick Kawhi or Paul George very high. Aside
Yeah.
from the fact that they're injury prone, load management, rest, and all those things, I think Harden entering to the Clippers equation was also part of it. Uh, Part of the decision making. So I think there is an effect. Of course, there is an effect, but I just don't think it's that big already at this point. No.
Yeah. Well, do you think Harden gets because he's been probably among all the three? Well, no, I couldn't say he is the highest one that was picked.
I think
Because
so. Ah, no, Paul
obviously,
George sometimes
well,
was.
no, not really, because his value dropped just because of these trade rumors, right? Um, do you think like his value could get back to that top 30, top 25, or level for
I know
Harden?
I've been reading some of the opinions about it, some of the initial reactions, and a lot of them or most of them have said that he will return to his top 30. I'm not that sure. I'll put it that way. I think he can, but I'm not gonna put it at 90%. I'll just put it at maybe more than 50%. I'll put it at 60 to 70%. He'll
That's
get to the top
that's
30.
very safe. That's a very safe percentage.
I mean, I'll put it there, but there's also still a big chance he doesn't because of the lineup they have right now. There are lots of usage. There's not enough usage for everybody. But I say that I think he'll get to top 30, not top 25. I don't think that will happen. Top 30 because 30 to 35 maybe because of the assists. No, the scarcity
Yeah,
of assists. The assists that I think last year he was a leader in assists in the NBA. He
yeah,
averaged a 20. He was a 20-10 guy last year with assists being the 10-20 points. So I think if he gets to 17 and 8, more efficient, some three pointers, good free throw shooting, lesser turnovers, hopefully maybe, and then the steals. He's a good steals guy. James Harden, and he
yeah,
gets to 1 to 1.2, 1.3 steals. That's still top 35. That's still top 35 in my opinion.
yeah. So
So yeah,
personally, I think this is stocks up for Harden here. I think he he is the guy with the that will get a positive impact here. For the rest, I think a little bump down, like Kawhi. Paul George, I think, gets hit a little more just because he does a bit of the facilitating at times, right? And I don't think he'll be able to do most of those things right now. Westbrook, obviously, probably a bigger hit. He's been playing okay, not the wild Westbrook that we've seen in the past years, more composed, except for, of course, the sample size is still very small. But Westbrook probably takes the biggest
West,
hit here, probably coming off the bench.
yeah, there are conflicting reports, but if you're thinking of it logically as a coach, you would really put him off the bench. Start Harden at point guard so that your bench would have someone like Westbrook anchoring it because they're
Yeah,
not deep anymore. They give, as you said, they gave up what all their forwards, all the. I
that's
mean,
just weird. The what they gave up was weird because they lose all their bigs.
yeah, they lose bigs and they're really small. So I think if there's someone who can offset that size and disadvantage on the bench side, it's Westbrook because he can still rebound, he can guard bigger players than him.
And
So
he's big.
yeah, and he's bigger, and that's not big. He's not big, but he's bigger. I mean, he's
He's
6'4".
bigger among the guards.
Yeah, but so he could go to the bench, but they said they will try to start him also. So let us see. But even if he starts that first game with Harden, I don't think that will last. No, that doesn't necessarily mean it will last. He could go to the bench at any time. Now, whether he starts or off the bench, yeah, he is the biggest hit. There's no other way to put it. But if you own
Yeah,
him, you just have to hold. No, you have to give it at least 3, 4, 5 games to see how it really affects him. We can all speculate, but nobody will know the
yeah,
exact stat set or stats that he will produce with Harden there. Plus, I'm sure there will be injuries. No, there will be injuries. There will be things that will happen. I don't even. I'm saying it right now. I don't even think that these four players, Harden, Paul George, Westbrook, or Kawhi, will play. I don't know, 50, 50 games
50.
as a foursome, not as a foursome. I'll just
All
put it
right,
this. I'll just put it this way.
together,
Have 13
together.
together, the four of them. 13 to
Yeah,
14
yeah,
back to backs. I would predict that all 14 of those back to backs they might not be together. I mean, they will rest one or two or maybe both
yeah,
or whatever. They there's a lot of ways they can play this now that they have an asset like Harden.
yeah.
So we'll never know, but definitely for sure, Westbrook is the biggest hit for sure.
Um, looking at the other side, the Philadelphia side. Um, I don't know if some of those guys that were traded will benefit significantly. Plus, but the interesting thing here, those guys that were given to Philly, especially particularly Robert Covington and Nicholas Batum are fantasy favorites, right? Favorites of fantasy managers, especially in category leagues. These two are big major contributors if they are given minutes. So it's interesting how they will be able to use those players, right? Um,
They can go a lot of ways. They can go Tobias at power forward and start Ubre. That's how they finish
yeah,
games. Their first few games. They can go Tobias at small forward, Covington at power forward, or Batum, or even Marcus Morris. No, so there's a lot of different ways they can go about this. I'm just hoping it's Covington. I'm betting on Covington starting because he has been in Philadelphia before. He has played with Embiid before. He has that experience with these players, some of these
but
players,
that's a
no?
small power forward.
Covington is not a small power forward. I mean, PJ Tucker is 6'5". I
Well,
mean,
true. PJ Stalker probably is smaller.
Covington actually played center with the Clippers as a backup center though, but he did play center.
True.
So at power forward with Embiid there with Tobias beside him, it's actually the perfect fit. I'm just thinking there's no news about it, but I'm just hoping it's Covington. I'm betting on Covington, so I picked up Covington in some 14 team leagues. If it's deeper, 16, 18, 20, definitely I'll be going out there and picking Covington up. Shallower, 12-10, I'm not gonna do anything yet. But in 14, if I have an extra roster spot, a streaming spot, at the very least, I'm gonna pick up Covington and see what happens. If they announce him as a starter, that's big. If not, then I drop him right away. No, it's just a gamble on my part
Yeah,
because if Marcus Morris is the starter, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't interest me. Even I don't think Batum will be the starter. He just can't play that
yeah. I
many.
don't think
Yeah,
he's the oldest among the group too.
and KJ Martin, is too raw. No, too young for a contending team. He may have started for the Rockets when the Rockets were tanking. But it's different if you go to a team with championship,
Yeah,
aspiration. So it should be Covington, but the only other player it might start is Oubre. Oubre
yeah,
could be the guy that they decide to, well, he looks good with the team, let's start him. So that is something we'll have to wait and see.
yeah. Right. So not much for the existing players in Philly. I don't think a lot will change. Like, I don't think anyone gets a hit here.
No,
Do you think so?
no, I don't think anyone gets a hit. Maybe well, I guess Paul Reed. Let's talk
Paul
Paul Reed.
Reed is the biggest one hit.
Some people
So
are
we have a
saying,
question already here. Yeah, about Paul Reed.
okay, maybe you there. Uh, Paul Reed. Some people are saying maybe they start Paul Reed at power forward. They said with PJ Tucker out, maybe they start Paul Reed. Maybe Nick Nurse just waited for Tucker to be traded and start Paul Reed. My thinking is I don't think so because I don't think I mean PJ Tucker played 22 minutes a game this season and Paul Reed still didn't play power forward. I mean he didn't play with Embiid. I mean
Yeah,
if they wanted it, they wanted that thing to happen. They could have played the 26 other minutes. They could have used Paul Reed. They did not. So I don't think so. I think Paul Reed will continue to be the center because I don't think Philadelphia has any other center really aside from Embiid and Paul Reed.
yeah.
So
Plus, I
yeah,
think playing Paul Reed would clog the lane up for Joel Embiid, and from the basketball point of view, I think that will happen. And the reason they probably got players like Covington, players like Batum, is that they're better shooters than PJ
I
Tucker,
think kind
right?
of
So
weird they
that
did.
spreads.
Kind of weird they didn't go for Norm Powell though. I mean Powell in Philadelphia would have been interesting because
But
the
he would be
salary of
smaller
Powell,
though.
but the salary of Powell and Marcus Morris are kind of the same. No, so I'm not too sure about whether Powell is an expiring contract because Marcus Morris definitely is an expiring contract, and Philadelphia wants expiring contracts to get the
Everyone, I think, from that group
yeah. I think
are
that's what
expiring
they
contract.
prioritize because they wanted cap space for the summer. This summer,
Yeah.
50 to 60 million dollars in cap space. So maybe that is the reason. But yeah, if to answer this question, I don't think it's likely that he will get additional playing time. Paul Reed.
I think at this point, Paul Reed is purely a Joel Embiid handcuff.
He is.
Um,
He is. Yeah.
and most likely you're gonna hold him in deep leagues, maybe 16. But 16 is even questionable. Like, I can see, some players that might be better holding at 16 team leagues. But yeah, if you have Embiid and you're in a 16 team league, you might
Well,
want to,
it
if your
doesn't.
team is strong, you might want to handcuff.
It doesn't
Uh,
help that in the limited minutes that he has played, he's not played well.
he's not done anything.
Yes. I mean,
Worse
if
than
he
Chris
was
Boucher.
if he was playing 13, 14 minutes and doing like 5.7 rebounds and maybe one
Yeah,
block, maybe or one steal, one block, just simple stats like that, maybe owners would be like, okay, let's just be patient. He's not doing much. Not
yeah,
doing
he
much.
is not. He's not. All right. So, but most likely you can drop him this early or wait to see what happens first. I
Another
think
thing,
the best thing to do here is wait to see the new rotation.
yeah.
And then if really, because we're just assuming he won't be playing power forward, but we don't know, right? So just
And you
wait
know
and
what's
see the
funny?
rotation, then just drop him if he doesn't play much.
What's funny is the schedule. Philadelphia has a 3-day break today, and first 3 days of the week they have a break. So that's perfect for the new players, no? But you will have to wait for a long time for to see
To
what
wait.
happens. Yeah,
Yeah.
the wait is longer. Now the Clippers have a game right away tomorrow, a back to back, and a 4 day break after that. If you read our week 2 analysis, back to back right away, and then a 4 day break. So if you picked up, I mean, if you have Harden, if he doesn't play these 2 games, he's gonna be out for the week. He's gonna be out for the.
Yeah,
He's
most
definitely
like
not gonna.
I don't think he's gonna play these 2 games.
That's
I
very
doubt he's gonna
possible.
play.
So he's gonna be out for the week, another week. So uh, yeah, if you own Harden, you should be happy that there's at least a timeline already. At least he's gonna come back, but he'll be out. No James Harden for week 2, also no, because of the schedule. So it's I don't know if they decided to make this trade because of how this the schedule is, but it's possible because both of them
Yeah.
have really long breaks.
All right. Maybe related here. Not completely related, but a question about the Sixers rotation: Melton or Oubre? I know
I,
Komish loves Melton.
I still like Melton. Melton is my guy there. He's a winner. Maxi and Melton are winners because if Harden came back, I mean Melton will be dropped for sure. I know he's not been playing well even without Harden, but at least he's gonna be starting now that Harden is definitely out. He's gonna be starting. Believe me, he's gonna be a top 100 guy, maybe a late 100 or maybe just outside the 100, but somewhere there. When it's all said and done, he has enough big games, enough good games to get him there. Steals, 3 pointers. He's there. Category leagues, he's fine. Points league, maybe not, but I'm still Melton there over Oubre.
All right. Just because I the thing we like about, well, at least the thing I like about Melton is that he can contribute a bit of everything in
Yeah,
our different categories. Unlike Oubre, maybe the scoring and a little maybe rebounding, and then that's it. Some steals, here and there from time to time. Melton on the other hand can give you those stocks, can score, can shoot threes, so a lot more. Plus, he won't. If he's not shooting well, he's probably not gonna shoot as much. Unlike Oubre, if he's not shooting well, he's gonna shoot a little more just to try to
actually,
get his shot off.
the better question here will be Melton or Austin Reeves. Although they're not from the same team, no. But I think Austin Reeves is struggling also with the Lakers. I mean, he's struggling. He was 1 out of 12 yesterday. Today, 11, 3 and 3. Didn't shoot the ball well either. Didn't even finish the game for them. His free throw rate is just gone. I don't know where it's gone. Last season, he was getting the foul line so often. Now he's not getting the calls. So Melton or Oubre, I think at this point it might lean Melton already. No, which
Yeah.
during the draft it would not have happened. But
All
both of
right. So
them are closer.
let's go through some of your questions here. Cam Johnson. So probably the first major casualty hasn't even played the game. Well, I mean
Yeah,
maybe the second behind Bradley Beal. Um, he is out
and
for another 10 days. That's the
if
news
you
I got.
if you want to ask how my teams are doing, I have a lot of Beal and Cam Johnson, so that will answer your questions if you want to ask how my teams are doing. But yeah, it's a strain. Strains are not gonna heal fast. No, he was already out during the preseason for a long time. I'm not that sure if it's the same issue, but after one game, they said it was a calf contusion or something. Then it became a strain. So I'll expect him to be out. You said 10 days. I think it might be longer than that.
I
With
think
the
10
strain.
days. That's the latest news. That's the latest
Yeah,
news. Of course,
I think it will be longer than that. I feel like it will be longer than that.
All right. So no, not much. He is a hold, especially if you have IL
Yeah.
spot. Of course,
Yeah.
obviously, he's gonna start most likely once he comes back, but he might be on minutes restrictions. So
Yeah.
I think you'll get full Cam Johnson experience maybe week 4 at the earliest.
Maybe at the earliest. Now, if you are holding him, you want to sell him. That if you're desperate, if you have 3 or 4 injured players already right away, and you need to sell him, I guess go ahead. But you'll really be selling him at a very very cheap price. No. Now, if you want to get him, now might be the time. No, now it might be the time to buy low on Cam
Yeah.
Johnson. Yeah, especially they
Yeah.
also lost Spencer Dinwiddie. They're also out Nick Claxton, right? So they have a lot of injuries out there
Yeah.
in Brooklyn. Yeah.
All right. That's from Aldrich Trinidad. Angel John
There we
Maria,
go.
Zach
That's it.
Collins, or Austin Reeves.
An Austin Reeves question. I'm sure a lot of people. I don't know why. I know Zach Collins. For me, it's Zach Collins. Um, Mixed bag so far for Collins, but I'm very encouraged by the chemistry between Wembanyama and Zach Collins. And if there's anything we've learned early on, I don't think Wemby can play center. I mean, he can play center eventually. I don't know if he can play a long amount of time at center this year.
Are you
Uh,
disappointed with how Wemby has played?
Not really, because I never expected him to be a first round pick. I mean, people would expect a first top 20 player. I've said it a lot of times during the draft that pick him there, but pick him with the because you're a fan and you want to have fun. You want to go to the unknown, uncharted territory. But don't expect him to be a top 20 guy. And the preseason is the preseason. He was good, and he will have games like that during the regular season, but consistently I really never expected that. So not that disappointed, but I guess encouraged. I think he's been in foul trouble for a couple of games already. So if maybe he avoids that, I think his stats would be better, much better.
I don't have a Wemby stock, but if you have a Wemby stock, comment there and comment wherever you're watching this from. If you're happy or a little disappointed, because I just
Let's
feel
put it
like
this way: if I give you right
he's a
choice,
little underwhelming.
I give you a choice right now. Would you go Chet or Wemby?
Chip,
Exactly. So that's the answer.
and
People will be disappointed.
I you're right. We're gonna get Wemby because we just want to experience having him on our team, and we don't want to lose out in case he was really that good. But I think we've already seen that when he is up against the big boys, it's not as easy as the preseason games.
Yes,
Definitely not
and
as easy.
remember, we told you don't chase Wemby. You can go for Chet, right? We said that
Yeah,
during the draft season. We like Chet better, especially at where he's being picked, because and I said this before, the 1 year the Chet sat, that's big. I mean, he did not play, but he already was with OKC. The trainers, the health medical staff and everything was able to work on his body, and then the trainers were able to work on his game. So that's a big advantage for Chet over Wemby. And we did say that there's a big chance Chet will end up ranking higher than Wemby. And I think that's right now after a couple of games, looks like the chances are even higher that that will happen.
yeah, and plus, of course, OKC has been a better team than the
Yes.
Spurs,
Yes.
right?
That's also
It's going
true.
to be interesting as well from not the fantasy perspective, but the Rookie of the Year perspective, because Chet is eligible to win the Rookie of the Year. And it's going to be interesting if Wembanyama does not win the Rookie of the Year, because he's been what people have been talk, hyping him as a generational talent. We haven't seen him since we haven't seen a prospect like this since LeBron and all. But if he doesn't win the Rookie of the Year, right, that seems like a disappointing year for him because
I would
he was.
say the only player that can get that award from him is Chet. No.
Yeah, that's it.
So
And
yeah,
from the looks of things, Chet might have a chance to win, especially if his team is good and he
makes the
contributes a
playoffs.
lot more,
Yeah. Yeah. If
right?
he continues just like around 15 points, 7, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks, that might be enough because his team might make the playoffs. And I think Wemby's stats could be a little better eventually, but if he's playing for a losing team, it might not be enough.
Right, all right. Kurt Soliman asking about Josh Okogie. If he
Yes.
is a good
Yes.
add this week, he should
Yes.
be added,
Phoenix.
especially without Beal. I think Booker is not gonna play this week as well.
Booker is doubtful for tomorrow. Beal is out. He's already declared out.
He's
I
out.
don't
Yeah,
expect Booker to play tomorrow, but at least he's doubtful. So there's still a little chance that he plays. But Phoenix, if you read our analysis, no, is the best team to stream this week because they have all the games in the quality days,
Quality days.
for next. So Okogi, Jordan Goodwin, Drew Eubanks, Eric Gordon, Grayson Allen. These guys are players you can add at the start for tomorrow, and then just hold them until because the last quality day will be the last day, Judgment Day. So you can hold
Yeah.
them all the way until the end. So that's the good part about owning guys like Okogi.
Uh, Here, Okin Adnarim from Facebook, is Darius Saric a hold in 16 team? I've
I
seen Darius Saric in 16 teams on the waiver wire, so I don't think he's a must hold there.
Yeah, I don't think it's a must
Maybe
hold.
because of the schedule as well.
It I guess it depends on the schedule. He has been playing decently for 16 team though. Especially rebounding wise, he's been rebounding well. But the difference here is Draymond just returned. No, Draymond just returned, so that's gonna be another player that will affect his playing time. But so far, he's been getting 20 minutes more or less. That's enough in 16 team. It depends on who you will drop, but if it's not a streaming spot, I think you can hold Darius Saric for a while, especially center eligible. Until Draymond ramps up, gets more minutes, then you can drop him.
All right. John Miguel, another question. 20 team, Josh Richardson over McConnell. McConnell hasn't even played.
No,
What,
he,
he
he
played
played.
2 games? No, he didn't play the last game. He
Yeah,
barely
but
played
but
the
he
first game.
he had a game where he had 8 assists, 8 points, eight
Yeah, but
assists.
that was, I think that was a blowout game, right?
That
That
I
was,
think that was a game where Halliburton was supposed to be ill. I don't know. He suddenly went into the rotation, but you're right. He's not 100% part of the rotation. I guess it depends on the matchup or how close the game is and everything. So
and
I
I'm worried about McConnell in the sense that I think they're grooming Nemhard to be uh, the backup eventually of Halliburton, a
yes,
younger
yes,
player.
yes, for sure. But
So
but if
if
Halliburton
that's
goes
the
down,
case, I'll probably pick Richardson here.
I'll pick Richardson also. But the point is, if Halliburton goes down, McConnell, we know what McConnell can do. And I think
Yeah,
even if they're grooming them hard, McConnell will be the guy to own if Halliburton goes down. It's a weird situation. It's like if Halliburton is healthy, he's not even the backup. But if Halliburton is hurt, it's like he's from not a backup to third string to like the starter. And then Nemhard continues to be the backup. Something like that. So the upside of McConnell is definitely higher than Josh Richardson. But it's hard to bet on an injury. Of course it can happen, but it's hard to bet on an injury. So I'm gonna go Josh Richardson.
all right. This one is interesting because I've been thinking about Mikal Bridges as well. Renz Shi asking about Mikal Bridges' value. He hasn't been great. He's been okay. Not second round great. So,
Yeah. I don't know what they expected from Mikal though. If they expected 26, 25 points, I don't know. I didn't expect that from Mikal. I do have a Mikal, but it's in Roto. And that's because his game really fits Roto better. And if I pick Mikal, it's because of his durability. No, the 82 games, knowing
yeah.
that he's there, game in and game out. But what he's doing now, 20 points, 5 rebounds, close to 6 rebounds, 21, 6, and around 4 assists at 52% field goal. 2 3 pointers a game. I think I think that's basically what you should expect from him.
Yeah.
I mean, this is without Cam Johnson, without Nick Claxton. Then Dinwiddie's been struggling, now injured. He's doing 21 points. I don't really think he's a scorer. No, so I don't think he has in him to score 25, 26. There are games he will do that, but on an average, I think he's just really a 20 to 21 point scorer. But he's gonna do everything efficiently. Although he had 5 turnovers today, I think overall he should be efficient. So value is for me is most top 30, no, top 30, early third, late
Yeah.
second.
Plus Cam Thomas is their go-to scorer these days.
Nobody saw that, but
So
yeah,
Yeah, like he's starting scoring, averaging 33 points per game. That's huge,
Yes.
and that takes off a lot of points from Mikal. I think what people expect from Mikal is the late season Mikal, wherein he gets sometimes 30 points.
It
You
will
know,
come.
I think he averaged a little bit above 24, 25 last year, late last year, towards the end,
Late last year, I think
because
he
he was
reached
hot
that.
last year.
Yeah. I think like today he had 24, no. So it's not as if he cannot score 24, 23, 24 points, but I think on an average that might be the peak of his scoring ability. And if he reaches that, he's probably second round, top 24, no, top 20, 20 late 20, early 20s. But if he stays at 21, 20, 20 to 21 points, that's where he's probably at top 30. So around that area, around that.
Wesley Sikanko, Josh Hart drop or hold. I've
I don't
seen
know.
Josh Hart drop
Yeah, if it's
14 pin.
10 to 12, he's a drop. No, 10 to 12. 14, borderline. Depends on how strong your team is, I guess. I mean, if your team is
If
really
you have
strong,
the luxury to hold.
or you can have the luxury to hold. No? Or you can also use his spot as a streamer because you have a strong team. It depends. I don't see a lot of upside with Josh Hart. His value is really like a jack of all trades. Can help you in rebounds, can help you in some three
Yeah, that's the
pointers.
biggest value, rebounding.
Yeah, rebounds, and then some other stats that he can help a little bit. I mean, out of position stats, like he can pass, no, he can assist also. But as I said, when we talked about this preseason, we are not sure about what Dante DiVincenzo's effect on him is, and we're seeing it now that it's the minutes are a little low, no, at 20 to 22 minutes. It's not what he was getting last year. So yeah, for me, it's an okay drop. He's okay to drop.
From Madirazo Charles, Sohan or Bay?
Hmm. Sadiq Bey,
Bay
no?
just
That
moved. Bay just moved to the bench, right? Moved
yeah,
off
yeah.
the bench. So I think that lowers his value by a lot. I can say a bit because he's not as appealing, right? Player, unlike Sohan.
I
So
would
I
choose,
think that's a big drop.
yeah. I would choose Sohan, as you said, because Bay would be someone you would pick up and then not really think much. He's just there. He's just there, like he can give you 12 points, some three pointers. Sometimes he gets steals, sometimes not. But Sohan is a guy you have there, and then you're hoping for, hey, maybe this guy is something more, no, than just what he's shown us, because he's just a sophomore. He's now a point guard. He's just starting to really get an opportunity. He's only 3 to 4 games in, so there's still much. There's still a chance that he turns into something else. Like the first game, 15 points, 5, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, all around stats. That's peak. That's prime Sohan. No? If he does that consistently, which is possible, you got something on your hands. So as a starting point guard, I always go with the starting point guard. Sorry, that's just me. If there's a starting point guard in the question and they're close to each other, I'd go with the point guard because he has the ball in his hands. No, I
Yeah,
mean the
yeah.
chances to get those stats would be higher.
Plus, since Bay moved to the bench, I think like I said, that lowers his value by a lot compared to the starter.
Although I should say,
Position.
Sohan has a bust potential also because if Trey Jones, I still feel sometime this season Trey Jones will move back to the starting position. If that happens, then Sohan can go, not just disappear. But I still go Sohan. I still go for
Uh,
the
Alendri Nang. I think
mm,
this may be a very shallow league. Tillman for Osar.
yeah,
Um,
I'll go with that.
who do you like here?
I love Tillman, but I
I
also love
Osar. Are you going Osar?
I have Tillman in all of my FBW leagues. I'm just gonna say that. And in some, I mean, I have in 75% of my leagues.
You were
So
fast.
I was fast, no, with Tillman. So I love Tillman, but I think Osar. is the right move. I still love Osar more. Tillman, watch out because he's starting to drop. He had a great first game.
Yeah.
But I posted the numbers of Tillman as a starter, and it's not what he did in his first game. It's around, I think, 11, 12 points, 6, 7 rebounds, something, just something like that, which is not really a top 80, top 70 guy. You can get one block, something like that. No, very low end, but useful. Osar, I mean, he's already averaging double figures in rebounds. He's the top blocker in his team, and he's in the, as a rookie in the league, and his shooting is not even, it's not even there. So if he starts to improve that
Yeah.
little by little, I don't know where he will go. So I mean, there's just another level yet for Asar.
Not another
So,
level. Plus, he is the more exciting prospect, obviously, over Tillman.
and
The
Bojan is
ceiling
still
is
out.
higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bojan is still out. I think even if Bojan comes in, well, we don't know. But the way till Osar has been playing, he's been guarding the best player of the other team,
You have to
right?
watch
He's
games.
averaging 2.3 blocks.
Yes.
2.3
And when you
blocks.
watch the games,
You can
when you
see
watch
the
the
blocks from the help
yeah,
side, from the
yes.
one-on-one plays.
He's
Really,
everywhere.
really good.
Yeah, he's everywhere, and
He
you can
is.
notice
He
him right
is.
away. You can notice him right away, and the effect he has on the Pistons, it's not even, you cannot even see that on the box score. So, and we know Monty Williams is a good coach. He's good with young players and developing players. So I trust that he's not like Dwayne Casey and play Bojan over Osar when that time comes. So I'm betting on Osar.
Uh, Chris Paul. Chris Paul question.
So far so
Chris Paul has
good.
been good. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah. For the
I
value you
mean,
picked him, 70s, 80s,
some
gives you
I had
eight,
a
nine
draft
assists.
where he went past 100. I mean, Chris Paul, yeah, he probably will not score a lot, especially off the bench, but
That
he's never known to score. So the assists, it's been 7 to 8 assists. The steals are there, so
yeah.
I think you can't complain about it since you drafted him way low. So I'm happy with Chris Paul.
Yeah, don't expect the what top don't expect the top 30 Chris Paul. That's probably not gonna happen anymore. Um, but yeah, maybe top 60 at best is what he can
Yeah,
reach.
yeah, 60 to 70, he can reach that.
All right, this one, another problem player, Chris Middleton. How many minutes did he play today? He played
17, played 7,
17. Last time I think he played 15, if I'm
16,
not mistaken,
played
or
16,
less. Less. All
16,
right.
16.
So
That's minutes restriction. Yes, that's his minutes restriction, 16 to 17. So, um, what to do? I really don't know. You can't drop Chris Middleton because I
you
mean,
know what's good thing about Middleton? Here's what you can do. Here's what I've been doing for Middleton. He's always been either game time decision or
yeah.
doubtful, questionable, or whatever. So if you have an IL plus, just play him there. Put him there, and then maybe don't get him out of there if they decide to play him. Especially if you don't have any other, if it's a full slate and so on. So that's how maybe you can hold him without really impacting your team's performance as much, right? That's what I do. I just put him there. Even if they say that he's gonna play, I'm not gonna put him up until maybe the last second, last minute, just because we have daily today, and then
Actually,
yeah, well, let's see what
even
happens.
if
If
even
if you
even if he plays, I will not
yeah,
put him up.
actually, that was what I was about to say. If there's really no, if it's you don't have a choice, you can't drop anyone. Just let him stay there, right? If you feel that the other players might do better, you can just keep him there. The only drawback there is that you can't, if he plays, you can't add other players or stream. Um, so I think that's
That's
what
the
how
only
I
way
do it.
because
I don't think you're gonna drop.
that's the only way because I don't think he should be dropped. No, we know what he can do. He's not injured. It's just they are taking more precautions with him so that he doesn't re-injure his knee. So I think it may give him 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month at most. He's probably gonna be close to where he wants to be. Not close to previous Chris Middleton, but close better. I mean, maybe Clay Thompson level, no, something like that.
All right. Should I drop Trent for Goodwin?
I would not. This is a short term move if you do that. No, if you acknowledge that and you're okay with that, then fine. Because if you add Goodwin, for sure Goodwin will be dropped. You will drop Goodwin. Maybe not week 2, but maybe week 3, week 4, you will drop Goodwin. Especially when Beal comes back, with Booker comes back. He's not even gonna be rosterable. So if you drop Trent right now, you have to accept the fact that that spot is gonna be a streaming spot. You know,
Yeah.
there you will be adding and dropping players.
Also, Trent has what, one good bad game so far.
Trent
He
has been
has a
bad.
couple of good games. Well, he
No,
has a
no.
couple of bad field goals, but yeah.
The problem with Trent, I think, is the minutes. No, off the bench
Did he
is
have a
not.
17-point game, 16-point game?
Yeah, he had a 17 and 16. He had a 5 point game
It's
and a three
okay.
point game. I think
Yeah, he
it's
had two
because of
bad games.
the bench role. I think it's the bench role. Bench players. That's why we like starters more, because the bench players, it's kind of inconsistent. No, yeah, the 17 and 16 point games are okay, but I guess where you drafted him, you want more. Maybe some managers would do that. But I would not drop him for Goodwin. I would definitely not drop him for Goodwin.
All right. LeBron James trade value. Is LeBron
Um,
James a sell high? I don't
well,
think anyone's
I
gonna.
think he's both. I mean, depends on what you see will happen to him. It could be a buy low or a sell
Yes.
high, because the minutes restriction, now his value is depressed because of the minutes restriction message of Darvin Ham. But if you look at what happened after that, that minutes restriction wasn't really followed. Even on a back-to-back, LeBron played 32 minutes today in a back-to-back setting. So they said 29. He played 3 more minutes in a back-to-back. So I think they will still play him around that area, 32, 33. It's really hard to. I mean, the Lakers are not like Denver and blowing teams out. If you're like in a close game in the fourth quarter, would you not play LeBron even if it's like he's already at the 28-minute mark or
Because
29-minute?
he is LeBron James. I think
They need him.
if he
They
tells the
need
coach,
LeBron,
yeah,
and he's
and
the
he's
coach.
not like going. Yeah, he's not going to be like the other players wherein if the medical staff says you got to limit his minutes. If he says I'm going to play, I'm going to play, right? He's not like
Yes.
the other
Yeah.
stars wherein the medical staff can hold him back. Um, no, I don't think that's LeBron. So yeah, I think trade
But trade
value
value,
wise depends on who you're trading him to.
I would say the best case would be a top 40 guy. A low end top 40 guy. The lowest, top, like a Siakam, DeJounte maybe. I mean,
Yeah,
DeJounte had 41 today, but we're not sure if that's gonna kickstart his season, or he might struggle again. But DeJounte, the Siakams, maybe somewhere there. That's the best case. The safer option would be probably past that, the 40 to 50 area. Maybe Jordan Poole, if the Jordan Poole owner is frustrated already. There's also a part of this about team builds. No, let's say the Poole owner is not punting field goals, but it's killing him. So the field goals of Poole is killing him. So maybe you can swap. So
yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Uh, Another one from Isaiah James, Trey Murphy update. I don't think. Well, he wore a referee uniform today, so but no update.
No, no, no. The last update I did see was his trending. I mean, the generic update. He's doing well.
Yeah,
Recovery is doing fine, but he's still ways away. He's not been cleared for any contact and everything. The initial timeline is Christmas. No? So I would still see that as the best, probably the closest scenario. Not Christmas Day itself, maybe somewhere near there. Not, yep, yeah.
Ian Solis, Franz Wagner, or Keegan Murray? Keegan has been playing
I
well.
Yeah, Keegan's been playing well. Wagner has been okay also. So this is a tough question, but I would say Keegan because I'm a little in love with Keegan's game. Eh, I watched
Yeah.
two Kings
Plus, he
game.
contributes a little more. He contributes a little more.
He contributes more than last season. I mean, last season he was just a spot up shooter, but he has really improved his game. You know, he's done a lot more than last season. The steals, it has shown in his stocks. And he's rebounding well also. Plus, the Aaron Fox is injured, although I don't know how long it will be. So he's probably gonna be asked to score and do more.
Another one from Ian Solis, Jalen Green or Melton?
Melton. I'm not a Jalen Green fan. That's not the question for me because I would answer whoever you're choosing, whoever the other choice is. I'm not a Jalen Green fan, and you don't see as much development in his game. How many? This is his third season, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
He's the
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards batch, right?
No,
And
I think he was after Anthony Edwards.
who was the first pick in his batch? But I'm not too sure. But I just don't see as much development in his game compared to his contemporary players. He's also still like that, you know, scorer. He's becoming a Jordan Clarkson, if you ask me. Becoming a Jordan Clarkson kind of player, even in fantasy, which is good.
His batch is Cade.
Oh, Cade. Yeah, okay, Cade. Even Cade has improved much more than Jalen Green.
Actually,
And
a
Cade has
lot from his batch has improved. Like Cade, Evan Mobley's there, Scotty Barnes is
Scotty
there,
Barnes. Yeah.
Josh Giddey is there, Franz Wagner is there. So this is a nice top 10 list of players here in his batch.
Yeah. And Jalen is okay. He's a good scorer. I would give him that. He's a very good scorer. But I'm not that sold on the efficiency of his game. So fantasy wise, I'm talking fantasy wise, like he doesn't steal the ball. So if he gives you he's a very likely to give you a 5 out of 20 shooting night. So it's like high turnovers also.
Yeah. Paul Dundao, drop Hunter or quickly for Gordon? Eric Gordon,
Aaron
I think.
Gordon, yeah, I will pick up Aaron Gordon for those two.
No, Eric.
Eric Gordon, no.
Yeah.
The only time that the only time that I will say no to a
Maybe
Eric.
Hunter. Maybe
Uh
Hunter.
I would
To stream.
I don't like if this is a streamer, maybe, but even as a streamer, I like Hunter more. I feel like they're the same players, but Eric Gordon purely a scorer, really. Even without we've seen him without Booker or Beal. He had one good game, one bad game. So it's like I don't think there's consistency with Eric Gordon. I'll go with the player with the longer value life, no? Shelf life. I'll go with Hunter.
All right. Another interesting question from Ian. Scoot. Scoot's been
Scoot,
bad.
yeah. There's no other way around it. But today he was better at the game. People have been dropping him, but I think he'll be fine. But he's a point guard. It was just made a starter right away from day one.
And
Rather new,
what's the experience of no college experience, right?
and
Just the G League experience.
well, that's supposed to be better than college according to the G League, according to the NBA. But he's also not been forcing things. I'll put it that way. He's not forcing things. Not like let's say Ivy. I'll give him credit for that. He's not forcing too much yet. He's not. I think he's afraid to make a lot of mistakes, and eventually he will learn how to deal with those things. Do you know that Malcolm Brogdon is leading the Blazers in usage? He's averaging 30% in usage. Malcolm Brogdon. So,
So that's
uh,
not gonna last. That's not gonna last.
yeah, that's not gonna last. But Brogdon is playing well. No, he's playing well. It's
He
seen in
is.
his stats.
Well, wherever he goes, he is a good player. Wherever he
Yeah,
goes.
I think Brogdon can learn from that. He will learn from that. I think he will learn from Malcolm Brogdon a lot, and he will improve as the season goes along. But
Yeah.
if you picked him very high because of the Dame news, like picked him the 70s, 80s, you will be disappointed this season. There's no when that happened during the draft, I kept on saying, no, don't pick him that high because there's just no upside left.
And
I mean,
he hasn't been really good even in the preseason.
yeah, he's not. He's not. But people assume that he will suddenly blow up because Dame Lillard is gone. You know, that was the assumption. Like, no, Lillard is gone. Scoot is
Yeah.
starter. He was so good in the G League. Look at his body and everything. So go, let's go with Scoot. But uh, there's just a learning curve in the NBA that you cannot skip. I guess unless you're LeBron James, no. Yeah, unless you're LeBron
Yeah.
as a rookie.
True.
Every rookie, especially point guards, you saw that with Jaden Ivey last year. He's not even recovered until now. It's not gonna be pretty. Even Cade, right? Cade's first year
No,
was
you don't even have
struggled.
to look too far. Victor Wembanyama is, like we said, it's been the best prospect that came into the NBA since LeBron. That's how they coined him, right? And he's been struggling a bit. Of course, that's a different type of struggle. He's still performing fantasy wise, but if you compare to the preseason performance, he's been struggling a lot during the season, right? Foul
But
trouble. He's not shooting as well, right? Although of course
but
he is a different specimen here.
but you know who's not struggling? Brandon Miller. That's why we apologize to Michael Jordan. Like we thought like, oh, that was a wrong pick. Why did don't go for need, go for the best player available in Scoot. But I mean, Brandon Miller's shot just look pure and look really good. People compared him to Paul.
He's actually quite polished. If you watch the games, he's a bit
Yes,
more polished for the NBA. His height, he's big, he can shoot, right? He
Paul
can,
George.
for his size, he can, yeah,
Paul
close to that.
George.
Yeah, Paul
Yeah.
George. Paul George, a lot smoother, though, I think. A lot more finesse in Brandon Miller. Trade question. We'll do a few more and then we'll call it a night. Curry, Butler, Fox, Kyrie, Beal. Curry.
Curry plus Butler for Fox, Kyrie, and Beal. Hmm.
Curry, Butler.
I'd go for
Huh.
the best player available in this. I mean, it's Curry. So you see what he did today.
Fox
If
is
Jamie
injured. I mean, all
Beal is
three of
injured,
these guys will miss games already. Kyrie will
yeah.
not play. Did
But this is
not
a
play.
fair deal. I think it's a fair deal because,
Yeah,
of
it's
course,
fair. Not bad.
Jimmy's struggling. But if Jimmy gets to his per game normal per game, performance, if he starts sulking about Dame, starts to move on, stops his emo mode and start to move on, I think Curry plus Butler would be the winner here.
I don't know where this question came from, but Sadiq Bey for Wiggins.
Manny Gasca.
Wiggins has been
So,
struggling though.
yeah, Wiggins been bad. Wiggins been bad. But
Yeah, it's been
uh,
bad.
Sadiq Bey for Wiggins. I would probably bet on Wiggins still. I mean, I don't think he's this bad. Sometimes people go through a slump, especially with new teammates like Chris Paul. Maybe he's adjusting to his position. Sometimes he's playing power forward. But I think he'll figure it out. He's a good player.
All right, here's one from JD on YouTube. Cole Anthony or Jalen Suggs? 10 team points lead.
I love Suggs. I've watched.
Suggs been playing better, a lot better.
Yeah, I watched the Orlando game a while ago. To be fair, one of the first time I've watched Suggs play, and he was all over the court and he really cared. He was really into the game. I love that about a player. The heart, the hustle, and everything. But points league, I'll probably go Cole Anthony in points league. If it was a category league, I will go Jalen Suggs. But in points league, I would go with the scorer, Cole Anthony.
All right. So
But
we have lots of
10
questions
team,
here about Paul Reed, about
yeah.
yeah, go, go. Finish the thought.
But
Finish the thought.
10 team, 10 team, I don't know why both of them will be rostered in 10 teams, but I mean, maybe it's a deep 10 team league.
Yeah, maybe the roster size is big. Anyway, as I was saying, there's a lot of questions about the Clippers Harden trade, the impact of it. If you missed it out, just scroll back to the early part. We talked about it in depth. Effects on Paul Reed, uh, and so on. So you could get that there. Coach Sandy watching. Uh, Thanks, Coach, for watching. Did Coach Andy won this week one? I didn't
I'm
notice
not sure.
because I was
I'm not sure.
being
What
I
I
was
know is Joao
being
beat you and Joao,
demolished
yes, and Joao will demolish
by
me.
Joao.
This week, I'm down already big time. His team is pretty good. His team is pretty good.
All right. All right. Coach Andy has a question. Who would you guys rather have, Jalen Johnson or Josh Giddey?
I would rather have
Giddey has
Josh.
been,
I
although
put
Giddey has been so,
I
not
put
as good.
Giddy in the worry list, right?
Yeah.
Yesterday, week one trending down, Josh Giddy. But even if he's trending down, he's still a better prospect than Jalen Johnson. Better track record, and today he played well. No, today he played well. I think though that the effect on Giddy from the entry of Chet is is there. No, it's a hit because rebounds of Giddy was one of his strengths. I don't think he's gonna average 10 rebounds or near that this season. Probably around 6 to 7. But I think he has a bigger role still than Jalen Johnson. He's still safer than Jalen Johnson. So I'd rather have Josh Giddy.
All right. Here's one from Erwin Aldana on YouTube. Should I sell high on Steph Curry? How high can you sell?
How high can you sell?
Jokic.
That's I mean SG. Okay, let's put it this way. Jokic owner would not agree. Maybe the Embiid owner.
Embiid.
But remember, if you do an Embiid for Curry trade, I mean that's a total change of team. No, that's a total change of build. That's a total
Yeah.
change of team. So maybe Halley, but it's debatable if Halley's and Steph I think are very near each other. They have different strengths, no, but they're both point guards. Maybe Steph is more fragile, older, so you want somebody younger, somebody like Halley. So that's the only deal I can see. Luca, I don't think that's a straight up because I have Curry higher than Luca. No, so in fantasy, I have Curry higher than Luca. So I don't really know
Yeah.
how high you can sell or what deals you can have with Steph. No.
Yeah. Plus the
Just
point
enjoy.
of a change in strategy when you trade Steph, right? Because most likely you're
Yeah,
winning threes here, you're winning points, right? Because of Steph. If you move to maybe an Embiid or a Hali, then your points, maybe at Hali, your points will drop by a lot, not just a few, by a lot, and
but
that
I will
would
say SGA or Steph.
uh SGA.
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
SGA.
If
I think
there's one
SGA
player,
would end up in the top three there. He's really going
if
to be
there's one
top
player
three.
that can beat Jokic number one, it's SGA. I said this
But
before.
that's
I'll say it
so
again.
far.
Well,
But the gap is so far.
outside of that one bad game, all that was against Denver though. But outside of that one bad game, I mean SGA is number
He's
one
been
so
great.
far in fantasy. SGA's been number one in fantasy so far. So if I just feel like he's the guy that will take over for
He is.
Jokic.
He is. I mean, good field goal, great free throw shooting. He can score
Talks
more than Jokic. He can, the assist, probably Jokic, rebounding Jokic, but the stocks, I think the stocks would be big for Shea.
for
So yeah, he
SGA,
has a
yes.
chance. Uh, J.R. Barredo got offered John Collins for Gafford.
Butch Aiton and
He has
Eubanks.
smooched. Gafford
Gafford's
is injured though,
yeah, is injured and his strengths are really is really blocks. Wooch Aiton, not really known for blocks. I don't know how strong he is in blocks, but if he's not that good in blocks, I think Collins would be fine. Collins has been better than I expected. No, so far he's been performing well, but yeah, I think Collins fits Vooch, Aiton, and well, Eubanks. I don't consider Eubanks as part of the deal, of part of the equation. But Vooch and Aiton with Collins is a better mix than Gafford, I think.
Yeah.
No, because Vooch, Aiton
Uh,
very solid rebounders, and Collins is a solid rebounder also.
Miki Manyala, how low would you go to buy Lamelo? I'm not on the Lamelo train this year.
I am. I have some Lamelos. So I have. Well, it's also because Jeremy kept on putting me as a ninth pick in my FBW leagues. I mean, I don't know how many ninth picks I had, if not ninth, tenth, and
You
Lamelo
had
kept on
three, I
falling.
think. Two or three.
And Dame wasn't yet traded at that time, so I didn't want to risk it. So I kept on picking Lamelos, a lot of Lamelos, and I know he's not been that good so far. So how low? I mean, I don't know if Kyrie is low because some people have Kyrie higher, but how low? Mikal, Mikal. I mean, offer your Mikal Bridges, maybe offer your. I mean, at this
He's
point,
playing really
if you
well.
no,
Surprisingly well.
I think he wants to buy Lamelo, right? So he wants
Yeah.
to see how low he can get. No, I think Carl Anthony Towns is struggling so far. If you have enough centers to offset losing Carl Anthony Towns and get a Lamelo, I would be happy to do that. Lamelo definitely better than Towns. No, so I mean, still in the top 20, top 30 players, that mix. You can't go any lower than that. He's still the first round pick of your manager, of his manager. They'll not just give him up just because he's struggling for 2 to 3 games. Not They're not gonna give him up easily. Just put it that way.
Uh, all right. So let's pick here. Thoughts on, all right, this one from Nikhil.
And
No,
Kale.
I wouldn't trade
No,
Kessler
no,
for
no.
Jalen.
We we
No.
we we say Kessler is trending down because he is really trending down. It's been I mean Jeremy has Kessler, I
No,
think.
yes, today. I
Yeah,
have
he
a
had a big
few.
game
I have a
today.
few.
But the question sometimes like drop Kessler for Naz Reid or something like that. No, I
I've
mean
seen that. I've seen that. I've seen those questions.
you invested a top 50 pick on Kessler. Don't just give up after 3 games, 3 bad games. No, you have to see it through. Be patient. Again, John Collins, I said, I think he's part of the reason that maybe Kessler struggled a bit. No, he's playing with a better power forward now. No, a power forward who
Yeah.
can also rebound. No, who can also do a lot of
Yeah.
things.
And who
That
was
probably
also
is the.
paid.
But he's not bad player. We know that he's not a bad player. Come on. Don't.
Don't
I mean,
fall into the Jalen Johnson hype. I think this is more on the Jalen Johnson hype. He started everything's going right for Jalen Johnson. He started he played 29 minutes in the first game, consistently been playing well, and then now he's starting. Don't fall into that hype. There's hype on Jalen Johnson, but it's not the top 50 hype.
but we're not hating on Jalen Johnson. We actually
Yeah,
advocate for adding Jalen Johnson, but we're just
yeah.
saying
I
that
have lots
sometimes
of Jalen Johnson
you
actually.
know what people are doing. They added Jalen Johnson. He's playing well. They're trying to cash in. They're trying to cash in by trading him for someone who's playing badly, poorly, like Kessler. So your pickup from nothing, you get a top 50 guy like Walker Kessler. That is how you play fantasy. Now, Nikhil probably is on the spectrum of owning Kessler. So we're advising you not to fall for that. But if you are the one who owning Jalen Johnson, we'll advise you to do this, to try to trade up,
Yes.
try to cash in your Jalen Johnson. So it depends on where you are. But if you own the higher ranked player who's a really higher rank, not just close, not Harrison Barnes, no, not Andrew Wiggins, not these guys. If these players are the ones that's being offered, I'll be happy with Jalen Johnson. But for sure they'll offer you Potel. They'll probably try Kessler. You know those players who are really struggling in week one. And no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. Renz, Mikal Hunter Portis for DeJounte D. White Middleton. DeJounte D. White Middleton,
Yeah, I'll probably go with DeJounte D. White Middleton.
right?
Mikal is the best player though in this six among the six players, but the difference between D White and Hunter, that's huge. No, and then of course
It's a
Middleton
lot.
even yeah,
D. White has
that's a big
D.
difference.
White
And
has what, top 80 potential, top 80, top 60
I
maybe.
don't even think that's potential. That's who he is. I think he's a top 80 guy,
Yes.
and Middleton is the guy with potential. Eventually, no, he will be better. He will get his legs back. And Portis, as much as I love Portis, I mean, what does this guy do? And he scores maybe double figures, a little some rebounds, but doesn't block, doesn't doesn't do
He doesn't
much.
do much. He hasn't been rebounding as well also
Yeah,
this year. Thoughts on Jalen Duren, the another hot player for this week, for week one.
and you know what? The good thing about owning so many leagues is you have so many players. So when Duren hits, at least I have some Duren.
I don't have one. My
I have
gosh.
some Duren. I did pick Duren. I'm happy because I picked him in the 80s. I said I did write about this. If you can cash him for a top 30, I will do it. That's the only thing I would. Again, that's how you play fantasy. You
Kessler.
picked up.
Kessler.
No, I'll stay with Duren. I'll stay with Duren. I don't. Kessler is not top 30. Kessler is not top 30. I'll go higher. I
Well,
mean, if
not top 30, but yeah.
someone offers me cat for Duren, oh sure, I'll go with a safer player. But uh, it's just how you should do it. But I think Duren can sustain this. Duren can sustain this. Maybe not as good as he was in week one. Not as good. I mean, that's really good. I don't think it will be that good. I think he's still in the top 50, 60 area. He's not top 20. He's 24th, I think, right now, 23rd in fantasy in Yahoo. I don't think he's that good. I think he will fall down a bit. It was a very very good start, but he will slip down a bit.
All right. There's a hypothetical question here from FJD. If AD plays 82 games. First of all, AD will never play 82 games. No one has ever played 82 games
But
last year,
given,
except for one person, right?
but given,
Would you
as
pick
he
him
said,
over
it's
Jokic? Do you pick him over Jokic?
82 games.
Yeah.
82
Both of
games.
them, assuming both of them plays 82 games.
No, I'll pick Jokic. I'll pick Jokic. Um, it's one thing I like about Jokic is consistency. No, I mean AD still has his bad games here or there. I don't know. I just feel like Jokic, you can you can you can just bank on it. The bad game of Jokic maybe 14 points, 12 rebounds, 13 assists, 12 assists. Still a triple double. So I'll probably still stick with Jokic. And easier to build around,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That was what I was about to say. Easier to build around. I think the only advantage of AD are the stocks, which, like we always say, has lock factor in them, right? Today AD can have 3 steals, 3 blocks. Tomorrow he can have zero, right? And so, unlike unlike Jokic, you expect him to do a triple double, right? Or at least close to a triple double every game with good field goal, good free throw, and maybe he can be lucky and get a couple of blocks here and there from time to time. So I think, yeah, you're right.
I think the
Consistency,
better
still
question is
Jokic.
if Embiid plays 82 games, will you pick him over Jokic? In that case, I might go with Embiid if he plays 82 games.
Because he
I
says
think
he has a lot more
he has that
in
going.
his bag.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this he can 30, 12, 3 assists. Let's say 4 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks, something like that for 82 games. I mean, that's a solid. It's like an SGA but old
Plus,
top,
plus
right?
elite free throw shooting.
Elite free throw shooting
Except for
generally.
that game one. Except for that game one. I was so annoyed that he shot 3 out of 8 from the free throw. Last two before I'll just pick a few. Um, Mm, tanking. Early tanking. Blazers, Wizards. This is too early of a question, but I think if you're looking for teams that who will tank this year or who will be bad, yeah, Blazers, Wizards, maybe add Charlotte there. Who
I
else
feel Chicago
are
will be
have
part of this.
potential to be tanking
I think Chicago will be part of this.
eventually?
I
Yeah,
eventually. I think Levine will be traded. I think they're just not a good team. Not much depth. So I think the Bulls will be part of
they're
this. How
not a
to deal?
good team, and I think they're not excited for anything at this point. They're like, yeah, we just
Yeah.
go through it, finish the games. Let's just finish the games, right? They're not
Yeah.
as hungry.
How to deal? Um, I think of course if you drafted some of their players, trading them, finding the right timing, finding the right deal, you can start as early as now. Of course, doesn't mean you have to trade them now, but it's hard to find deals that are really perfect for both parties. So you can try as early as now in offering and studying your opponents who might, you know, who might like the players, like let's say Jeremy Grant. He's my number one worry among tanking teams. No, Jeremy Grant, George, maybe a little bit of Poole, but Brogdon definitely is a worry in among tanking players. So maybe look
Aiton,
for. I think Aiton might not be rested as much. I feel like he's young and they want to develop him more. You know, Jeremy, they know what they have with Jeremy. It doesn't matter already if he plays or not. Not like Aiton. So I think Jeremy's still number one there.
all right, last year from Luigi. Let's do this last. Dynasty 14 team. DeJounte, Bain, Edwards, or Trey Poole, Tatum.
DeJounte, Bain, and Edwards or Trey Poole and Tatum. In 3 to 5 years, more superstar power. Well, Tatum is a superstar already, so I guess you go with
Trey and Tatum is a
yeah, you
superstar.
have
Those
superstars.
two are
Edwards would
superstars.
be a superstar, but I don't think in 3 to 5 years DeJounte would be as good as he is now. I think he's gonna dip. No, so maybe I go with the Tatum side here,
Yeah,
right?
plus Bain is good, really good, but I don't think he's gonna have superstar
Superstar. Yes, I mean
status,
he's
especially when
complementary
Jamoran
piece.
comes back.
Yes, he's probably a second fiddle to
Yeah,
Jamoran. You know, you're talking about superstar. As much as we hate on Poole and he's a shocking a full favorite, gonna be a shocking a full favorite this season. You can still see him possibly becoming a superstar. I mean, he's really
for
good. You know,
sure.
he can.
He has two
Yeah.
already.
Yes, yes. So I mean, he is still good. He can still score a lot of points, and so I think that side wins out.
All right, that's it, guys. We'll call it a night because we've been here for an hour and a half. As always, let me just hide that. As always, guys, follow us. Uh, YouTube, subscribe. It's not showing. Yeah, all right. Yeah. YouTube, Facebook, subscribe, and on Twitter, FBW underscore podcast and FBW underscore com underscore Eric. That's it. There's a few more questions there, but unfortunately we can't go through them all of them yet for today. Maybe the next one. And then that's it. Have a good day, guys. Bye.